Jon Snow is a fictional character in the A Song of Ice and Fire series of novels by George R.R. Martin, as well as its television adaptation, Game of Thrones. Introduced in the first novel, A Game of Thrones, Jon Snow is the illegitimate son of Eddard Stark, the Lord of Winterfell. Raised at Winterfell alongside Stark's legitimate children, Jon grows up feeling somewhat of an outsider due to his illegitimate status. Known for his sense of honor and loyalty, Jon decides to join the Night's Watch, a sworn brotherhood tasked with defending the realm from threats beyond the Wall in the far north. As the series progresses, Jon rises through the ranks of the Night's Watch, eventually becoming its Lord Commander. In the TV series, portrayed by Kit Harington, Jon Snow's story diverges somewhat from the books. His character undergoes significant development, marked by themes of identity, duty, and leadership. He learns of his true parentage, which reveals that he is not Ned Stark's son but rather the child of Ned's sister Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, making him a potential heir to the Iron Throne. This revelation profoundly impacts his sense of self and his role in the larger political and social conflicts of the series. Jon Snow's journey is one of the most compelling arcs in Game of Thrones, earning him a place as a fan-favorite character and a key player in the epic saga. Next on Daenerys Targaryen, played by Emilia Clarke, begins her journey in Game of Thrones as a young, exiled princess of House Targaryen, living in the free cities across the Narrow Sea. Initially, she is under the control of her abusive brother Viserys, who seeks to reclaim the Iron Throne and arranges her marriage to Khal Drogo, a powerful Dothraki warlord. Through this union, Daenerys gains strength and confidence, eventually emerging as a leader in her own right. Following Drogo's death, she hatches 3 dragon eggs gifted to her, bringing dragons back into the world after centuries. This act cements her status as a significant power player, earning her the title Mother of Dragons. Throughout the series, Daenerys's arc is marked by her relentless pursuit to reclaim the Iron Throne and free the oppressed. She conquers cities in Slaver's Bay, such as Astapor, Yunkai, and Meereen, liberating slaves and building a loyal following. Upon arriving in Westeros, she forms alliances but also encounters resistance, particularly from Cersei Lannister. Her final arc takes a darker turn as she becomes more ruthless, culminating in her devastating decision to burn King's Landing. This act alienates her closest allies and ultimately leads to her death at the hands of Jon Snow, who kills her to prevent further tyranny. Daenerys's tragic trajectory highlights themes of power, idealism, and the potential for corruption in the quest for justice. Next on Tyrion Lannister, portrayed by Peter Dinklage, is one of the most complex and beloved characters in Game of Thrones. As the youngest son of the wealthy and powerful Tywin Lannister, Tyrion is often scorned by his family due to his dwarfism. Despite his family's disdain, he is exceptionally intelligent, witty, and resourceful. Tyrion's sharp mind and political acumen become evident early in the series, as he maneuvers through the dangerous intrigues of King's Landing. His tenure as Hand of the King to his nephew Joffrey Baratheon showcases his capability in governance, as he effectively manages the city's defenses during the Battle of Blackwater Bay. Despite his efforts, he faces constant threats and betrayal, leading to his eventual imprisonment and trial for the murder of Joffrey, a crime he did not commit. Escaping execution with the help of his brother Jaime and Varys, Tyrion flees to Essos, where he eventually aligns himself with Daenerys Targaryen. Serving as her Hand of the Queen, Tyrion provides strategic counsel and helps her navigate the complex politics of Westeros. Next on Arya Stark, portrayed by Maisie Williams, is one of the most dynamic characters in Game of Thrones. As the youngest daughter of Eddard and Catelyn Stark, Arya starts the series as a spirited and tomboyish girl, more interested in sword fighting than traditional noblewoman duties. Her world is shattered when her father is executed in King's Landing, setting her on a path of survival and revenge. Separated from her family, Arya embarks on a perilous journey across Westeros and beyond, witnessing the brutal realities of war and honing her skills. Her time with the Faceless Men, a secretive order of assassins and bravos, is transformative, teaching her the art of disguise, combat, and the philosophy of death. Despite the harsh training, Arya retains her core sense of identity in her desire for justice. Upon returning to Westeros, Arya reunites with her family and begins to exact vengeance on those who wronged the Starks, notably executing Walder Frey and his sons for their role in the Red Wedding. Arya's growth from a feisty young girl to a skilled assassin is marked by her unwavering determination and resilience. Next on Sansa Stark, portrayed by Sophie Turner, undergoes one of the most significant transformations in Game of Thrones. Initially introduced as a naive and idealistic young girl, Sansa dreams of becoming a queen and living a life of courtly romance. Her world is turned upside down when her father, Eddard Stark, is executed, and she becomes a hostage in King's Landing. Forced to navigate the treacherous political landscape, Sansa endures immense suffering at the hands of Joffrey Baratheon and later, Ramsay Bolton. 5885. Next on Cersei Lannister, portrayed by Lena Headey, is one of the most compelling and ruthless characters in Game of Thrones. As the daughter of Tywin Lannister, she is deeply entrenched in the politics of Westeros from a young age. Married to King Robert Baratheon, Cersei becomes Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, but her true loyalties lie with her family, particularly her twin brother Jaime, with whom she has an incestuous relationship. Their children, Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen, are the product of this union, though they are publicly believed to be Robert's offspring. Cersei's primary motivation throughout the series is the protection and advancement of her children and her family's power. Her character is marked by a fierce intelligence, manipulative prowess, and an unwavering desire for control. Cersei's arc is characterized by her relentless pursuit of power and her willingness to eliminate anyone who stands in her way. After the deaths of her children and her father, she becomes increasingly isolated and paranoid, resorting to extreme measures to maintain her grip on the throne. One of her most dramatic moves is the destruction of the Great September of Baelor using wildfire, effectively eradicating her enemies